What's the difference between a drug addict and a billionaire? Of course, there is a lot to say, but among other reasons, they have a different planning horizons. A drug addict wants to experience pleasure here and now and follows his animal essence, forgetting about the human nature. A successful businessman prefers a long-term pleasure to short-term ones. I know, the comparison is quite unusual, but think about it. Your whole life is a series of choices, and how can you write a beautiful story if you only plan a couple of hours in advance? In this video, I'll tell you about the advantages of long-term pleasures, and as always, I'll start with a life story. As far as I can remember, I always had money, not because I grew up in the rich family, no. But from about the age of 5, I was given pocket money and I almost always put it in a piggy bank. I remember for sure that sometimes I bought computer games, Age of Empires, Serious Sam, and so on. But this happened infrequently, and otherwise my balance only accumulated. I could start spending it any moment and it would be enough for almost everything what child wants. But each time I saved a little more, then a little more. Now I invest because I know something that I didn't think back in the days. But the point is different. Even then I got satisfied from the thoughts of what my money will bring me tomorrow. I planned how I would use them in my another cool idea. I enjoyed that anything was feasible because I had my small but still capital. And I remember that every time years later when my first business plans began to appear, I had money to implement them. The same goes for how I spent my days. I studied constantly, read a lot of books and worked on myself. I wasn't even offended that I almost never chilled with my peers, and after my school I immediately went home to study more. I looked ahead and knew that later I would thank myself for this approach. In general, even as a child, I realized that you can enjoy thoughts about the future achievements and go towards them every day, increasing your resources. Am I grateful to myself for this? Yes, sure. It was thanks to my parents who shared this way of thinking with me. I have at least 3 reasons why a focus on a long-term pleasure will make you a successful person, and I want to share them with you. First, it's much nicer than you may think. By focusing on long-term pleasures, you gain satisfaction from thinking about future success now, planning your steps ahead. I spend a big part of my life thinking about how can I achieve success. I live thousands of ways in my head and take actions to implement the best of them. What does this give me? Enjoyment and the plan of actions are very pleasant because I live dozens of stories every day and I implement the best of them in my life. It's not that I'm hostage to my thoughts, no. But I always look ahead any serious moments, and thanks to this I act consciously and accurately hit the target. Why do I enjoy this? Because I get excited about who I can become, and this feeling it gets stronger when I see how my life is changing in the right direction. I have developed a skill. I can enjoy working on my future simply planning the next steps. It's the amazing combination of useful and enjoyable, as if your favorite dish were perfectly healthy and turned you into a superhero, giving the maximum satisfaction. Here you need to catch the drive and sincerely love yourself and your path. Without this, it will be very difficult to experience what I'm talking about. Have you ever played strategies like Civilization? You always have to think ahead, calculating the possible outcome of each action. That's what the game is all about. You must create and implement the most effective plan for the development of your world. Try to play it. This is the most effective and fast way to understand what I'm talking about. Second, only long-term pleasures allow you to create. Think about it in this way. You only create your life as you want it to be when you combine pleasure with control. One without another will fail. If you just want to relax here and now, please do it. But the maximum you will get from it is an improvement of your mental state. And this is also very important. Your tone affects the efficiency of any action, but the danger is that many people get stuck here and forget about planning their future. If you learn to combine tomorrow's benefits with today's enjoyment, this will be a turning point in your entire life. You cannot consciously implement a plan if you didn't create it first. Therefore, it's people with a focus on a long-term pleasure who move this world, creating all other benefits. Third, short-term enjoyments are almost always either neutral or harmful. and sometimes they're even destructive. Again, I'm not saying that you can't have fun from something healthy here and now, like massage or delicious and healthy breakfast, working out after a long day, and so on. But let's be honest, in the vast majority of cases, without thinking about the consequences, you risk getting a momentary high that will not leave even a trace in an hour and probably will cause harm. How many more ways to be tempted do you know comparing to the symbiosis of pleasure and efficiency? I think the gap will be very noticeable. Here there is even no need to mention people with severe addictions, but think about the same video games, overeating, excessive sleep, unhealthy gambling, rudeness, and so on. Sometimes it seems to me that modern people are much more successful in self-destruction than in creation. However, I think that I hope that it's not the case. If you again compare short-term pleasures with the long-term ones, it's easy to notice that you understand what you are doing much better when it comes to the second. You are aware of why you are taking specific steps, why you are here. This is control over yourself, your future and present, so don't forget about always look ahead. I will say it again. As soon as you learn how to enjoy now by playing the pleasure in the future, you'll go to a completely new level. Life will seem much clearer and many doors will open for you. Just try to understand my thoughts and start applying what changed my reality. At least try to do this. Guys, thank you so much for watching my content. I highly appreciate it. If you like this episode, give me your like. If you don't, give me your dislike. Write the comment below, follow my channel, and see you in the day after tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much once again.